AI or maybe blockchain, cryptocurrency, Bob. But I want to talk about a very important matter to CFF, our own hearts, and what we want to invest in, and that is the future of cyber, our youth initiative, our Cyber Future Youth Initiative in Kids Corner work we have done this summer. So, as you can see on the screens, we are joined by a wonderful panel of people. I'll introduce them briefly and then let them go into their background and their initiatives as well as we follow. But first, you can see Julina Macy. She is with UTSA CIAS and Director of Communications, doing great work over there in many different areas, including K-12 initiatives, as well as Eric Langford, who is Regional Director of K-12-6, also passionate about his own work, the effectiveness and making an impact within communities around the nation. And our last distinguished guest, Ian Mukherjee, really a critical leader during the summer as we worked to develop this program and get it on its feet, build initiatives, and now we're ready to continue forward. So, a brief description of what we worked on this summer. Ian, a leader in of himself here, brought together a group of 10 friends. I was on the call as well, but I was under his direction, of 10 to 15-year-old kids from the Dallas area. And I tell you one, it was amazing. We had a fun time, but we had a great chance first to address cyber itself. As we all know, there are positives and negatives in anything within culture, and cyber has its own as well. And we wanted to really address this area with kids, with our youth initiative, and how to enable these future leaders with something of a positive transition forward, a positive path to change the world. As we all know, cyber within youth has all sides of a coin, and a few of those that, especially with COVID-19 that was introduced, as kids were now more immersed in screens and communicating in this digital world, are the risks associated with that. You have risks of depression, failing grades, bullying, social interaction issues, and that's something, and what I love about Ian's passion here is something we want to address. We want to enable these kids as they move forward in this digital world to continue on their path to change the world. So, with that in mind, our group of 10 individuals started paving the road immediately. We hit the ground running. As Ian, I'm sure you agree with me. Our friends online were able to create 2 fully equipped games for cyber awareness and hygiene. We were also able to create a merch store, which was Ian's baby itself, very impressive, and kids will be able to interact and identify themselves with this initiative as we continue on, and as well as our weekly meetings. We had a great chance to really just brainstorm, continue talking, and think about what are our next steps ahead. Now, with that in mind, as we move forward in this, Ian and I both realize this initiative, we need partnerships. We need support. We need the future leaders to be led by the leaders of today. And you have 2 leaders as well joining us virtually who I would love to talk about their related initiatives. And first, Julina, if you wouldn't mind, I would love for you to expand on the brief introduction I gave, as well as Cyber Defender and all of the supporting K-12 wonderful initiatives you have.
Perfect. First, thank you all for having us and letting us connect to you today virtually. But as mentioned, I'm with the University of Texas at San Antonio with the Center for Infrastructure Assurance and Security. And what that means is we are involved at the community level, helping students, classrooms, the communities at large become more cyber aware to create a culture of cybersecurity. And that really is our goal. So we do that through a number of initiatives that are primarily at no cost to educators nationwide. We are a nonprofit and we want to support our communities, which are the classrooms, the young learners out there. So we have a K-12 cybersecurity education program. And many of you might hear K-12 a lot as far as programs go, and it really means generally middle school and high school students. Our program really does start at the kindergarten level. And we do that initially through 3 different cybersecurity tabletop card games. Cyber Threat Guardian, which targets kindergartners through 2nd grade. We have another game called Cyber Threat Protector for grades 3 through 5. And then a middle school and high school collectible card game called Cyber Threat Defender. And these games really were launched back in 2016 to create a need, or fill a need, I should say, that classrooms were finding there's a deficit in. And that was curriculum and resources and tools in cybersecurity. There has been a lot of fantastic content out there over the years for cyberbullying. And you find that still today at the young grade levels. What we wanted to do was really install again that culture of cybersecurity, inculcate that at the foundational level. So students aren't learning just cybersecurity definitions and terms, but they're learning in a fun first approach to learning about cyber terminology, cyber defense strategies and concepts, how they can actually be safe at home with their smart technologies, their smart TV, their smart refrigerator, mom and dad's smart coffee maker, the light bulbs, how do you get in and out of your house with a locking system? Everything's connected these days. So how can we bring that knowledge home? And how can we help them grow with that into the workplace so our small businesses, our corporations worldwide are more secure at the workplace as well? So by creating that culture of cybersecurity from a young age, they can take that knowledge with them throughout life. So we really want to work on that and create that foundation. And that's at the base level of our program. Hopefully, we'll inspire these young learners at a young age to pursue a career in cybersecurity. We know right now here in the US, it's estimated to be 314,000 jobs going unfilled in cybersecurity. So how can we help fill that gap? Not just create great job opportunities for our students, but create a more secure nation. Cybersecurity is no longer a term we have never heard before. We hear about in the news regularly, unfortunately. So how can we help create a stronger nation? And again, a lot of those holes we're finding in cybersecurity, those deficits, are at home. Remote learning, remote workforce. We are all vulnerable at work, at home, at school. So again, creating that interest and that ability to protect ourselves, not just defend against cyber attacks, but mitigate them as they happen. And again, you'll notice our program names, Cyber Threat Defender, Cyber Threat Protector, and Cyber Threat Guardian, all focus on the concept of defense. So our programs and our games are tailored towards a defense mindset, not create a nation of future hackers, but again, working with that defense mindset at all times. And I know in your audience, Nick has some samples of our card games you can look at afterwards. For the virtual audience today, you can go to our website, ciasgaming.com or cultureofcybersecurity.com to access more information about all three of our tabletop card games, but also resources and help for instructors. We aren't trying to replace curriculum created by cyber.org or others, but complement what you already have. However, teachers will really use our games as teaching tools in the classroom. Some use it as a way to initiate conversations about cyber defense this week, what kind of defenses are out there. If you have a wireless router, you need to protect it with an encryption of some kind. And so you start to learn relationships because that will protect you from a wireless sniffing attack. So these games teach relationships between different types of defenses, attacks, what assets you need to protect. And each game is tailored toward the learning objectives and abilities of our learners. So kindergartners aren't going to learn high-tech definitions. They don't have the reading ability yet. But at the high school level, they can really enhance that with booster cards and get sponsors and the community businesses involved to really help navigate that conversation and get them engaged at the learning process and hopefully promote their business at the same time, because every business needs cyber awareness and cyber security as they move forward. So it's a give and take, gets everyone aware. We say culture security at the community level because it is everyone's responsibility in the community to be cyber secure. So we can work with that again at the young learner stage of education, to the parents at home, to small businesses, their employees, the critical infrastructure at the city level. So how can we work together on that? Build those community partnerships. We can sponsor and support each other, and so on. And it's through those sponsorships of businesses and organizations, we are able to donate at no cost complimentary classroom boxes of these cards to teachers nationwide. Since 2016, we've delivered or distributed more than 50,000 decks of cards to mostly classrooms in 18 countries, which we estimate impacts 250,000 students today. And that number just grows. So if you want to learn more how you can engage your local school districts or your own classrooms, of course, feel free to contact me as well. But again, it's all about creating a fun first approach. And I will add, there's a lot of games out there. We hear gamification a lot. These aren't gamified learning resources. These are actual games. So we have created games that kids want to play when they have downtime in the classroom, when they go on the road for robotics tournaments. They want to play these games, we're told by teachers and mentors. Kids are asking to play these at every opportunity. So it's fun first. It's that repetitious play that they learn. But we also have activity sheets for K-5 levels that can be downloaded for free by teachers to complement the games and resources, educational videos on how to use the games, lots of resources to help the instructors, because our instructors don't need a cyber background to teach this information, not with the resources that we have. So again, lots of great free or low cost resources out there just to complement these types of things.
Absolutely. Well, first of all, Julina, thank you very much for being with us today. I have to say I'm guilty as charged when she said it's an intriguing game. I own a set myself. Ian has also tested this with a few of his friends, and they were quite impressed as well. If you are interested, or there might be someone that you know that would love to play this game, one of the packs, we actually have a setup down here at the front of the auditorium at the end. Please feel free to pick one up. Now, in regards to community outreach, getting the awareness out of these initiatives and really paving the road for these future leaders. Eric, if you don't mind, I'd love for you to expand on the introduction I gave, as well as just tell us, the audience, both in person and virtual, about K-12-6 and how everyone here can be involved.
Sure. Thank you, Nick, and good day, everyone. So K-12-6 is, which stands for Kindergarten through 12th Grade Security Intelligence Exchange. We are an ISAC, an Information Sharing Analysis Center, or we call ourselves an enhanced ISAC. And basically the way it came about is most of my career, about 20 years, was in corporate world information security. And I left there and moved into education in about 2015. And when I first did, I thought, wow, K-12 doesn't really think about cybersecurity. And so I thought, well, what can I get schools involved in to help them protect themselves? And there really wasn't anything available. So we started down the path at that time to create something. And actually, it was at a Cyber Future Summit in 2018 that I met the president of Global Resilience Federation, and we started and I said, hey, look, there's a gap in the whole ISAC infrastructure. It's K-12. Nobody is focused solely on K-12. She said, you know, you're right. And we started at that time. So what we are, like I said, we're an ISAC. So we provide threat intelligence information to schools. We have schools join, and then they're able to share that information with each other and open requests. They can submit threats that they may see that haven't been seen before. And because we're a part of Global Resilience Federation, we have a large number of other communities, legal, health, financial services, that also are part of that, so that we can do some of the cross-sector sharing. But the biggest part of what we're doing now is just trying to get schools involved to share information, to share what they're seeing, to help each other, because you always hear of schools, they don't have money, but they don't have resources either. They don't have the people that they need. And so where this fits in with kids is one of our longer term goals is to eventually have student run SOCs at schools, so that you could take kids, work with industry partners, companies, universities, train these kids in different aspects of security. So not just as Julina mentioned earlier, not just being a hacker, but to run a SOC, you need to do a lot of different things. You need, you need the business aspects of it. You may need somebody from art to design flyers and things like that. So we want to get all kids involved that have an interest. But what we will do then is point them and help them mature and learn and understand how to protect their schools. And then they can go back and protect their schools. And at the same time, they're getting valuable experience. For instance, you could have a small business come to the organization and say, look, we need a security assessment done. So then we could take some students and whoever their mentor is, go do the security assessment for them, provide all the reporting, everything that they need to do an actual assessment. So those are some of the basics that we're working on and trying to get started. But that's really what we want to do. Is I want to involve kids in the day-to-day protection of their schools. They are already working on and doing the things they need to do, but they just need some guidance.
Absolutely, and well said. Thank you, Eric. If anyone here is interested in learning more, I am more than happy to point you in the right direction following this panel. And Julina as well, in regards to acquiring a set, if anybody is online, what was the correct website again?
No worries. If you want to learn more, it's ciasgaming.com, or to order the cards directly, ciasmarketplace.com.
Understood. Thank you so much. Well, to our panel, with the last 10 minutes we I would love to utilize this time and really set a charge forward, a call to action through discussion. Ian, with you first. If I may, I would love to know what you would like to see from the current leaders, the people in this room, the people watching online. Where do you think they could best support our current initiative?
I think that maybe they could set a foundation for us.
Absolutely. I completely agree. And a foundation to better equip the leaders of tomorrow, correct? Right.
Yes.
So, Ian, following up on that, I want to know, just out of curiosity, why did you choose to join, engage, and lead this effort during the summer of the Kids Corner initiative?
I chose to join Kids Corner because my dad told me about it, and it felt like a real issue to me. As I thought about how it impacts my daily life in that perspective, I knew I had to fix it. I also thought it would be a fun summer project to do with my friends. I want to thank all of my team.
Absolutely, and fun it was. I enjoyed it myself. My inner 15-year-old was really coming out, and it was a blast. Following up on that, Eric, as far as community involvement, getting these schools where they need to be to better equip the future leaders, what would you like to see from industry, from education, to really bolster this effort and start seeing implementation across the board?
I'd like to see partnership and mentorship. I would like to see those in industry and higher education both say, look, we're willing to mentor kids, and if that means coming to their school, teaching a course, as I mentioned, if in a SOC, being a mentor and showing them the right things to do, the things not to do, that I think to me would be the biggest help is just providing that leadership and mentorship to kids.
Absolutely, well said. On that note, Julina, higher education, university studies, these future leaders are going to be at your front doorstep in only a short few years. From your perspective, the skills, the assessments, the equipping these leaders to go out and change the world, from your perspective on the university level, how would you like to see universities really start to partner together, further bolster this effort so we can create a launching pad and they can continue to break these glass ceilings that we see ahead of us?
Great question. It really is a matter of universities working together, not competing against each other. At UTSA, in fact, just last month, we started a partnership with the San Angelo University to help build up their cybersecurity program. The more communities, universities we can work with to build up their own cyber programs so the students in their backyard can easily access these programs and grow in knowledge and enter the career, the better. So the more we can engage in conversation and work with local businesses and organizations, figure out what their needs, what their gaps are, so we can help develop the coursework and curriculum that they need as well is very important. So keeping those conversations open and not shying away from that dialogue.
I could not agree more. It's all about the cyber culture, building a culture that is going to develop alongside these leaders, preparing them for the challenges of tomorrow. Well said, Julina. Thank you. Well, I want to say thank you to our panel, our distinguished guests. We appreciate everyone's time as well. If you are interested in learning more, please reach out to me, Val, the CFF team. Again, we have these resources up front. I would love for you to take a look. And again, to everyone, Eric, Julina, Ian, thank you so much for participating, and I look forward to seeing what this is going to turn to in the future. Thanks. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We are ending the broadcast.